Okay, so we're back in the shop with this case windrower. As you probably remember, about a year ago, I purchased this. Well, a little over a year ago, I purchased this this header for the case windrower. It's a New Holland. If you didn't know, that Case and New Holland are identical machines, and they all marry up. It's just a little different color paint. And I had problems right out of the box when I got it home. It was a wrapping issue. The hay wouldn't go out the back of it then it would bunch up, and then it would come around and wrap on that auger and just make a general mess. And when we're stopped waiting for it to unwrap, or we're under the machine with a knife cutting the wrap off of that tube, it's just unproductive. It was almost to the point where I'm ready to send this thing down the road and buy a John Deere. I can't afford the Krone Big M as much as I would love to. I know the guys out at Messick's, they would love to send a Krone Big M out here and collect like $337,000 from me. And, well, to be quite honest with you, I would go broke doing that. Unless I got more ground. I mean, if I picked up another 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres, then yeah, the Big M is definitely the mower that I would be purchasing. And I mean, that may very well happen. I know there's some ground that's coming up for rent here, or coming up for acquisition here in the next few months. There's a farmer up the road here that's in really bad shape, and they're just going to be quitting. So I'd have to, jump on that bandwagon and possibly pick up maybe 400 or 500 acres there, which would be nice. And then quite possibly, I swap off at least this case windrower and keep the John Deere and go ahead and buy that Big M, or lease it, or whatever I have to do. But I'm not sure yet. I mean, there's just a lot of ground that is in limbo right now, guys that have barns full of hay that aren't getting rid of it. But down to brass tacks here anyway. We have got to figure out how to make this mower head, or this header, spit hay out the back. It has been just an uphill battle with it. I mean, I did have some of it alleviated last year, and I did have some complaints from my father, because he's the one that runs this machine most of the time, that when he got into hay that was leaning into him, or laying flat into him, in the direction he was going, it would build on a corner and it would wrap. But he learned how to slow the machine down and deal with it. But this year, the hay is heavier, it's wetter, it's taller, it's thicker, and it is just rank. I mean, there is a lot of material out there, and I'm excited. I mean, that just means that there's more hay, and more hay for me to sell, and in the end, that means that I'm going to make more money off of the acres that I already have. I've put a lot of money out there this year too, and here's my neighbor Frank. He came to borrow a piece of equipment, and because his broke down, and I'm kind enough to let other farmers borrow my stuff as long as it comes back to me in the same condition or better as it left here in. So you're going to see this machine hitting some hay, and there's areas of this field that are heavy and areas of this field that are not so heavy. And I didn't... well, you'll see it. I mean, it worked really well. So with the four of us, there's 3 generations of pandies here in the shop right now working. We got it done, and enjoy the rest. Looks like it's laying it out. This shit is, if you don't believe how tall this stuff is, it's up here. It looks like it's laying it out okay. What happened to Joe? There he comes. See it. Huh? No, it ain't wrapping. He'll find that out. You may have to go get a tractor. Well, he's not wrapping up. So if he ain't wrapping up, that's a good thing. This shit's tall. Pretty thick too. That's working. It is working. I'd like to see him get into the stuff that's all laid down. Pretty heavy. You gonna try to go up? You can see him over there. This is pretty stiff stuff. We got a whole menagerie of different grasses in here. So Timothy is already over here, and he did attempt to mow this, and it plugged it up. It just laid on top of the cutter bar and plugged it up. So we put those paddles on there, and I think now we're back to doing something good. I just want to see what he's got going on in here. I don't see any problems. This isn't particularly heavy. Maybe find a golf ball, Tim. I want him to go up to Melnick's and cut it. Yeah, this is pretty thin here. It's doing its thing. It ain't turning nearly as fast as what you had it. It's doing its job. Supposed to do. I should probably finish the video I started earlier. What you saw us doing is probably all in narrative, but I'm going to explain it here in front of the machine while we're working at it. Let me flip this up. Okay, so as you all know, a year ago I bought this header from a place in Oregon, and it's called, let me remember, SS Equipment, Pasco, Christmas Valley, Hines, or whatever, but SS Equipment Incorporated. And I bought that from them, got a good deal on it, but it doesn't work as good in the type of hay that I'm producing, I guess, as it does in the hay that they're producing. They're not producing hay, they're producing seed. So, in Salem, Oregon is where I went to get it. Anyway, I've been modifying and working on it and doing different things, and we have not successfully cured the problem of the wrapping until, I believe, today. You'll either see that or you've already saw that in one video. But this is what we've ended up doing. This auger flighting, originally from New Holland, this side went
2/3 of the way over that way, and that side came across 2/3 of the way over this way, and it had ended somewhere around here. They didn't like it, so they cut it back so it was open in the center, and then they cut the flighting so it tapered down to that point, and that didn't seem to, it probably worked for them, but it did not work for me. I ended up last year, if you remember, adding paddles, taking paddles away, and then I finally settled on a piece of angle iron laid flat, like so it would create a bump, and that actually allowed the hay to go out the back. Now this year, the hay is much heavier than it was last year, so that has created a wrapping issue again. So as you can see here, and see in the videos, that we've actually cut, you can see it down there, we cut that flighting clean off of there, and today in the video you saw me welding that on. Tim, Joe, and my father had gotten things started before I got back here, and I did the final welding, and all three of us put the rubber flaps on, as you see in the video. Took it down and tried it out, and we don't have any wrapping issues at all. Timothy ran it with just the flighting cut off with no paddles on it, and it didn't wrap, it just plugged. So that's why we all decided that we would put these paddles on here. Now they're 6 feet long, each one. We've all set them equally on both sides. Dad says that the thing actually runs smoother than it ever did, which is a good thing. And tomorrow we're going to find out just how well it works, because we're going to mow hay tomorrow, hopefully. I'm expecting to go mow some hay tomorrow, and hopefully everything goes well. If not, well, fuck, we're back to the drawing board again. So anyway, that's that for that. Enjoy the video, or yeah, please comment, rate, and subscribe if you haven't already.